If you do not pay attention to the tunnel schedule, there is a chance that you could end up being locked inside the town of Whittier, and they will not let you leave until the morning. So, to avoid this, make sure you watch until the very end of the video because I'm going to be going over 3 important things that you need to know about the tunnel going to Whittier, Alaska. Let's get right into it. Number 1, and probably the most important thing you need to know, is the tunnel times. So the tunnel is open 7 days a week, and for the most part it either opens at 7 a.m. in the morning or 5:30 a.m. in the morning, depending on what time of year that you go. Now, it's pretty universal that the tunnel does close around 11 p.m. at night, so the biggest thing is whether you're trying to get back into the town of Whittier or you're trying to get out. I would say just make sure that you're there at least a little over an hour early, just so that way you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get through no problems. And you don't want any problems, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if you try to leave the town of Whittier and the gates are closed, guess what? You're not getting through until the morning. And I do believe they only have 2 hotels in that town, and they fill up pretty quick, even in the off season. So just be there early and don't be that guy. Also, it is a one-way, 2.5 mile long tunnel, which means that throughout the day, it usually rotates about every half hour or so, but every half hour or so traffic can go in and traffic can go out. So it does that all throughout the day, so you can pretty much get in at any time, roughly. You just have to be a little patient depending on when they let you through or they let you out. So just keep that in mind. I'm also going to put a link in the description as well too that will take you to the Whittier Tunnel website, and that will also have the tunnel times, and it's predetermined, and it's usually the same all throughout the year. But like I said, if you're going to be going to Whittier or if you're going to be staying there, make sure you check that website just so that way you can better plan your trip. Oh yeah, quick fun fact, if you're a terrible planner like me and you just show up at the tunnel and you forget to check the tunnel schedule, there actually is an electronic sign on both ends of the tunnel that will tell you when the next traffic release is, so that way you kind of have a little bit of an idea of how long you have to wait before you can go through the tunnel. Number 2, and this one's going to be pretty basic, but I do want to cover it. There is a speed limit in the tunnel, and you must have your headlights on. So the speed limit is 25 miles per hour. Don't go over it. And yes, don't be stupid, have your headlights on. When you're going through the tunnel, you're going to realize why. Now, I know this is pretty simple, but I want to make sure I cover it because there's always going to be that one idiot out there that's going to Vin Diesel his way through the friggin' tunnel and think he's going to go 55 miles per hour and tell himself, I'm going to make it through really quick. Well, here's why you don't want to do that. Unlike a traditional road or a traditional highway where you have a little bit of shoulder room in case you were to drift or swerve, you'd be okay. Well, think of it this way. When you're in that tunnel, if you swerve or you drift, you're actually going to run into solid, jagged, and sharp rocks, and you're going to end up effing up your car. And guess what? That rock, it doesn't move. So your car is going to get pretty jacked up. So don't be an idiot, turn your headlights on and go the speed limit and just, I don't know, enjoy the drive through the tunnel. I think it's kind of cool. Now, the third most important thing that you're going to need to know about the Whittier Tunnel is the cost. So when you're driving up to the tunnel, you're going to see like a little fee / a little pay station. You're going to go up to that little pay station. They're going to greet you. You're going to say, hi, how's your day going, yada, yada, yada. And they are going to let you know what you are going to have to pay depending on what type of vehicle that you're driving to get into the tunnel. Now, for me, I had a Hyundai Elantra, and it cost me $13 to go through the tunnel. Depending on what you have, whether it's a truck, RV, you're pulling a boat, a camper, you have a semi, you name it, the cost might be different. And the cost can range from $13 all the way up to $338. And like I said, I'll post that link in the description so that way you can kind of see the different costs and just kind of get an idea of what you might have to pay. Now, once you do pay, they're going to tell you which lane to pull up to. And I do believe there's like 6 different lanes. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go up to the lane that they tell you to, and you're just going to wait for the light to turn green. Once the light does turn green, just follow the traffic, or if you're the first person, then just slowly go through the tunnel and make your way out to the other end. And that's pretty straightforward as well, too. Also, when you are leaving the town of Whittier, there is no cost. So when you're leaving the town of Whittier, you just line up, and it's pretty much like the entrance. When you're leaving, they're going to have about 6 lanes, I want to say as well, too. I always went into lane 1 because it just made sense. Start with lane 1 and then fill up the rest. And yeah, once the light turns green, then you can go through. And like I said, there is no cost to leave, but every time you do come into the town of Whittier, there is a cost. So if you're coming back and forth all throughout the day, guess what? Every time that you come back into the tunnel, you're going to have to pay. And for that idiot out there that's already going, oh my God, why do I have to pay a fee? They're just trying to rip us off. Well, let me tell you something. They're not trying to rip you off. And here's the one thing I've learned. Whenever there is a fee for something, it generally means somebody cares. So think of it like this. that fee makes sure that that tunnel is maintained, it's clean, there's not rocks and debris on the road through the tunnel, and also that tunnel is shared with the train, so it also makes sure that there's somebody in a control room, monitoring the train, so that way it doesn't come hit you head on and you die. So that's why there's a fee. Biggest thing, guys, is if you're staying in the town of Whittier, or if you're just going there to visit for the day, just pay attention to the tunnel times, so that way you don't get locked in or you don't get locked out. Just like me. Idiot me that went to Alaska first time. Well, I'm not an idiot. I was just kind of a little careless. But when I first arrived in Anchorage, I was like, cool, I'm going to go to Whittier. I'm going to check in a little late, and I'm going to go to bed and get some sleep. Well, I didn't know that the tunnel closed at 11 p.m. at night. So by the time I got to the tunnel, I was like, oh, crap, now I'm up you-know-what creek without a paddle. So I just ended up driving back to Anchorage, and I got a cheap hotel, which I will never stay at again. And basically, I just got up early the next day and headed into the town of Whittier. So if you guys do have any questions about the tunnel or anything like that at all, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm definitely not an expert, but I think I stayed in the town of Whittier for about 5 days, and all throughout the day, I was coming and going. I was charging my camera, my drone, my batteries, and I made the most of my trip, so I just spent a lot of time in that tunnel, and I know a fair amount about it. So if you got value out of this video, definitely go ahead and smash that like button, and don't hesitate to ask me any questions in the comment section down below. I will respond to all of them, and if you're going to Whittier, I hope you enjoy your trip, and take care.